Hello and welcome back to Friday Minis. Now, you may have heard of the phrase HTTP is stateless. Now, to translate that into English, essentially, by default, web pages don't remember you. You can do whatever on one page, and when you move to another page on the same site, you are basically treated as a brand new user. There is no link between what you did previously and, well, you right now. Hence the phrase. HTTP basically refers to the protocol in which web pages are transmitted to you, and stateless means exactly what you think it means. There is no notion of state. There is no notion of, oh, you've done something previously and now we remember that. We remember that you've done something elsewhere. There is no notion of that. But if you think about it, nearly every single website has some notion of state. Basically, if you go to Facebook and you log in, you remain logged in. You don't have to repeatedly log in for every page you visit, right? You are remembered. So how is this implemented? Turns out the way in which this is done is extremely interesting. And basically it all starts with what is known as a session cookie. So let's start at a cookie. Essentially, a website can store a tiny amount of information on your computer, and that of course is known as a cookie. This is the beginning of state. Essentially, what you can do is, for example, if you do some configuration on a website, let's say you select a theme, that website can plant a cookie on your computer. The next time you visit that site, your browser automatically resends that cookie. When a site sees that cookie, it could go, oh, this user wants this particular theme, and immediately delivers that theme to you instead of the default. As you can imagine, this translates to some semblance of state. You tell a site you want something a certain way, and it basically remembers it to a certain extent. In fact, it's your computer that's remembering it and submitting it to the site every time you connect. Now, that's great, but what if it's something like a login? To go back to our Facebook example, Facebook remembers you're logged in, and this is slightly tougher than, well, just a configuration. The reason for this is, well, you could potentially associate a lot of information, and potentially sensitive one at that, with the fact that you are already logged in. So instead of storing that information on your computer, your state information is stored on the server. So what that means is Facebook remembers your current browsing session and basically saves it somewhere on its own disk. But how does it associate it with you? That is where the cookies come back in. Essentially, when you log in, what is known as a session ID is being generated. This usually looks like just a random string of characters. This session ID is sent to you as a cookie, and what happens is that is the value you save, and every page you visit, that is the value your browser will send back to Facebook. Facebook sees that value and goes, oh, I know who you are, and it retrieves your current browsing state, and it sets up the page that way. So this is great. What this means is all the sensitive information doesn't need to be saved on your computer. That in a nutshell is how sessions work. However, as you can imagine, there is a slight issue, and that is your session cookies are very important. It's essentially like logging you into a website without using your username or password. What this means is if someone comes along to your computer and steals your, say, Facebook session cookie, remember, that session cookie represents you, and when it gets sent to Facebook, Facebook goes, oh, I know this person, and it basically sends your browsing session to them. They basically become instantly logged in as you. So there is some risk to doing things this way, and that is why it is quite important to make sure you don't have malware on your computer, because that's one of the easy things that could compromise. And yeah, there you have it. That is essentially web sessions in a nutshell. That's all there is for this episode of Friday Minis. I hope you've gained some insight today, but until next time, you're watching 0612 TV with NERDfirst.net. Thank you very much for watching. If you like my work and are feeling generous, you can shoot me a one-time donation on PayPal or sign up for a recurring one on Patreon. Of course, you can simply like, comment, and subscribe. You know the deal. For more videos, links to my channel and a related playlist are on screen. Thank you for your support.